good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Debbie, and I am a psychic medium. And if this podcast found you, listen up, y'all. You are in for a treat as I have a panel of amazing guests that are joining us today. First off, let's introduce them as we open up the topic of jealousy and envy, as we like to call the stink eye. Let's go. Welcome, Jason, in the house. Jason, please introduce yourself and let the world know who you are.
Hello, everybody. It's lovely to be invited by you, Debbie. I'm Jason Rothwell. I am a spiritualist church medium from the United Kingdom. I am pretty well known across my country, more for causing trouble in the spiritualist movement than bringing people together. And I am quite well known for occasionally finding the odd missing body or two or nine. None that I've killed though yet. So at the moment we're on for a win, but that's me. Yeah.
Well, it's an honor, Jason. Thank you so much. And finding missing people, my gosh. I'm going to have you dive in and can you find some missing things that I'm looking for at the end? Don't go nowhere. We're just getting started, baby.
I'll have a look. If you've lost your passport though, you're staying in America, I'm afraid.
Oh no, I don't have one. I wasn't planning on leaving. Maybe one day. God help me. God help those who will find me there in their country. Mr. Greg in the house, welcome.
Hi there. My name is Greg Bach, and I'm a host of the nightly paranormal radio show, Ghost Box Radio. I'm a paranormal investigator, and I use my mediumship abilities using a device called Spirit Box that I use as a sort of gallery where I like to bring forward people's loved ones to help them. First of all, just they can hear the voice of their loved ones and know that they're okay.
Yeah, you do an amazing job in doing that.
Thank
as
you.
well. Thank you for being here, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Jaylyn, girl, introduce yourself.
Oh, what's up? My name is Jaylyn. I am a software audio engineer, musician, hip hop artist, and I'm just still filling out where I'm at in my mediumship. But I would say my current archetype is the wounded healer, and I am in the realm of shamanism.
Yes, and thank you for being here. And the work that you do is very heartfelt. Thank you, Jaylyn, for being a guest today. My friend, Mr. Aiden, introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Aiden. I'm an evidential medium, but I also have a background in psychology and social work. So I'm happy to be invited today to give that perspective to the conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive in together, all of us. My girl, Erica Neva, introduce yourself.
Hello. My name is Erica Neva. I'm an evidential medium. I am an intuitive psychic and oracle reader. My near-death experience allows me to have one foot in the spiritual realm, so easy to connect for sure.
Yes, and you do connect. I love it. Now, my boy, Mr. Louis, is in the house from the 805. I'm a little biased there, y'all. I'm from the 805. We got two great community people and amazing souls one from the UK, Minnesota, Texas, and Arizona. So you got a beautiful blend of beautiful souls coming together. Mr. Louis, introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Louis. I also go by my stage name, Double T. I'm a musician. I do hip hop music, and I also enjoy creating content online, like gym content and just motivational words, and put that type of energy out.
Yeah, and you do. I really love it. It's very inspiring. I don't know as you guys are in here, we've worked on ourselves, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We have taken the journey within to be where we are today, right? And what does that look like for all of us? It gives a picture very different. The canvas has different colors because we all have different ways of what we need to work on within oneself, right? And I love your workout content. If you guys don't follow him, he's on TikTok, and it is very motivating. And so thank you for being here. And as I talked about the topic, y'all, the topic is about envy. It's about jealousy. And for many of us, we've all had this, I will say, experience with this, right? And if I say this, I'm going to read the definition here. And the definition of envy And I didn't realize there was a difference. Did you guys realize there was a difference between envy and jealousy? I didn't realize. I was just like, envy and jealousy, like, oh, what does that look like? What is happening there? That's just my inner like, what? And so when I was reading it and I had to talk about it with Erica, she's like, no, it's different. I'm like, oh my God, when did I feel that way? Yeah, that was me. I was like, that's my man. You're not taking my man, girl. Like, that's like, I'm envy. That's mine. That's my possession, and that's my unhealed version of myself. You really think about it. Like, we get so possessive over what we have, and that when somebody wants that or we feel that, that's an unhealed version of ourselves. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta let him be his own person. Like, what does that look like? How many of us gone through that? Like, have you guys ever experienced that before? Yeah. I see eyes rolling like, whoa, yes. Yes, girl. Okay, so I told on myself. I did. I ain't gonna lie. It happens. So envy is the feeling of wanting what someone else has. That's crazy, right? Wanting what someone else has. Now, jealousy is the fear of losing something you already possess to something or someone else. Now, could that be work? Like, oh my gosh, I want what they have. How many of you been in a position where you grind so hard and you hustle and you put in the hours and you're just like, man, they're coming for my job. Like, this is messed up. They're coming for what I want. And then you're the underdog. You were the underdog at one time, and you're like that same hustle. So you've been in both roles. Some of you are seasoned and some of you are babies, and you've been in both places. So who wants to talk about this? Jump in, y'all. Who wants to speak on it? Anybody? Mr. Greg, what's up? What you feeling with this?
I mean, it's interesting, and up until, it's funny because I actually thought of jealousy and envy in reverse when until you read it, and it's like, yeah, you envy something, that it's especially when it comes to work. And I was just talking with somebody about this yesterday. I made a mistake years ago when I first started off in broadcasting, that I was my first job was at a place in Mankato called KEYC, and my first day there, one of the other people who worked there, they asked me how much I was making an hour, because that's when you work at a small station, there's no such thing as a salary. It's an hourly thing. And so I told him the princely sum I was making in 1994, which I think was like $5.25 an hour. And he went and because he got mad because he was making more than that, but he started less, and he felt like he deserved more because of that for some odd reason.
Right.
And so he went to his boss and to our boss, and he got a raise, like a 5 cent an hour raise or something. And my boss was mad at me for sharing that information because I was too young. I didn't know what I didn't know.
Right.
And I was thinking about that as like, I don't care what anyone makes anymore. As long as I'm being able to pay my bills and have a little bit for fun or whatever afterwards, I don't look at somebody else at the station or anywhere I work and be like, oh, I wonder what they make. Oh, why they seem to have a nice car, stuff like that. I mean, trust me, there's been times I had been that way, but I think now I'm in a point in my life where it's just like, I'm starting to care less about other people. I don't mean them specifically, but about, what they're doing in their lives. It doesn't affect me. If it doesn't affect me or doesn't feel like that they're in any harm or anything, right. I'm not gonna, that's their business solely. So that's been something I've finally got to.
Right. And so it's like your own soul journey. Like, what you do is your journey. What's mine is mine. And you said something that caught my attention, Greg. And I think a lot of us do this. We speak up. We're so happy. We're so proud, and we're shining, and we're like, hey, I'm making $5.25 an hour. That's what's up. Yeah. Now, because we've had experiences where someone behind us complain, or they feel a certain type of way, or you made them feel a little like, oh, let me highlight this. Who here downplays their joy and celebrations out of fear of someone being envy or jealous and throwing shade on your work? Who here? Anybody experience where they don't want to share?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see.
I'm that way.
Face. Yeah, I knew, Jalen. I was coming to you, girl. What? Tell me, like, why do you think we do that? Why do you think we downplay? Like, we can't celebrate. We don't share. We don't want to rub. It's not like we're rubbing it in somebody's face. We worked hard, but yet at the same time, we tread lightly. Like, what do you experience? Share with us, babe.
I think for me, it came from childhood, and it came from like my dad taking like videos of me when I was a kid, and like I would watch those videos, and then my brother would see the videos as well. But because my dad was in the Philippines when Mount Pinatubo erupted, so we had to evacuate. So my dad didn't get that same time with my brother. So as we got older, I would be like, "Oh, my dad!" Like I would tell my friends, I'd be like, "Look at this videotape me, and my dad took of me," and my dad would get upset with me because he saw how it affected my brother, and I didn't see that my brother was kind of like jealous. So now, anytime somebody tries to give me praise, I kind of back off, and I try to like turn it back to the person, like, "Oh, well, you're awesome," like instead of accepting it.
So you're empowering them to see their light. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, you too, like, babe, you shine
Mm-hmm.
just as bright. Let's go. So you're very empowering. But I
Mm-hmm.
love that what you say, you can recognize that it came from childhood. You actually said, wait a minute, I was taught to like, let's not showcase this, let's downplay this. And you're a musician, you sing, you're out there in the public. Like, what did you do to build the confidence to step out of the programming and the way you were raised to say it's okay to be seen and heard? What did you do for yourself?
Woo. So for that, I had to work on myself a lot. And actually, my ex who passed away, rest in peace, had told me, because I was trying to be like him. He had a band, and I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to do that." So I was going outward a lot, trying to get things done, trying to get booked for shows. And he was like, "What you need to do is you need to sit at home and you need to practice your guitar." And he's like, you just need to be a magnet, and everything will come to you. And so that's what I started to do. I stopped going out there, and I was making music. I got so much joy from just like creating that I was like, "Oh my God, this is so dope." And like nobody's heard it yet, you know?
Yeah.
Then when I got to this certain place in like 2015, where I won the Ventura County's Best Female Artist,
Yes.
I was around a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that people kind of wanted what I had. And this is where I started to feel like jealousy and envy. But
Yeah.
I realized that it wasn't coming from me until it's almost like somebody stole my identity. And
Yes.
yeah.
So is it like who here feels that like someone trying to mimic you because they're like, if they did it this way, boom, I'm gonna do it their way. Like it's almost like you put a blueprint, inspired, and then all of a sudden you start seeing other people like, hey, I just did that, or hey, what's up? I see Greg. Oh my God, I see Greg. I see Louie. Don't be shy, y'all. Come on, y'all. Speak
You
up.
know,
Speak
and
up.
that's just it. I mean, it's like, and that's something I do struggle with. Is like they always say, like, you know, it's imitation is the greatest form of flattery, and I can understand that, but you know, and I'm sure all of us who are, because we're all creative, we see aspects of people who we know are using something that's working well for us,
Yes.
and you know, I'm not going to put this over everybody because this is an individual thing, but you know, part of me is there. I have to admit, sadly, there isn't really a whole lot of me going, I'm so flattered by this. There's more of me being like, what?
You thrive in your authenticity and the originality.
Yeah. I mean, because we work really hard, and you know, I don't think any of us really, maybe I do end up copying somebody and I'm not realizing it or something. I mean, there is the idea for originality is becoming less and less and less over time. It feels like, at least in my existence. So I mean, I understand it, but yeah, I mean, you look at it, you're like, oh my God, really? So yeah, no, I that's where I struggle. I truly struggle with my own feelings. I don't, you know, go after them. I always keep it to myself because there's no purpose in it.
Right.
But I just like, I'm like, oh, now what do I do? You know, and it's weird.
Right.
It is weird.
I want to open it up a different way here. I was just inspired by spirit, and I'm looking at Jason, and I want you guys to all fill into this because we are all channelers. We all channel, meaning that who you hang with, who you're around, you're going to channel their energy, their magnetic field, their thoughts, their feelings, there's a blend of energy, not just from spirit, but from the living. So when we're around the living, we're also influenced on what's inspiring them. So then it can come across like, man, I just had that idea, and they're rolling with it. Like, what's up with that? And that can be also a feeling like, oh, I got to keep it to myself. Let me go within, as Jaylyn said. Let me go in. Let me keep myself private for a second. Let me go deep. Like, let me keep my energy to myself, even though it doesn't mean that you don't care or respect your friends. It's just you're trying to really hone in on your purpose, your download, what's for you. Because if you think about it, we're part of that one thread, that collective thread. So when a drop drops, everybody gets it. It's a collective message. It's up to the person who runs with it, who executes it and puts it into action. So we're all getting the same messages, different ways, and the way we perceive it. Now, Jason, I want to come to you because we channel spirit. We get influenced by spirit, and we get the inspiration from spirit. So are we mimicking the influence of spirit? Are we like, let's take this to another notch? Like, what are we doing here? Are we honoring spirit and self? Like, man, this just came to me right now, so I'm unraveling this as it comes in hot. So how do we look at that? Like, what does that look like?
I mean, I like have a mash of thoughts like going on in my head at the moment. I mean, first of all, just on a difference of opinion, I think that we as physical beings influence the spiritual realm as much as it influences us. Like our thoughts feed into the collective. And so they echo back. And as we change, they change.
Yes.
I kind of should put an admission here. I used to suffer with jealousy incredibly. And I think it's like really important for people to recognize that jealousy isn't just a word, it's an incredibly powerful feeling that can encourage anger, it can encourage deep anxiety. And it's not just a, oh, I'm jealous of that, or I'm envious of that. Like, it used to make my heart burn. My heart would burn, my throat would clam up, I'd start shaking, and it would be completely and utterly irrational. But you go from, I'll give you an example. I'll go from being stood in a gay bar about 20 years ago nearly with some lovely person who was there with me, and somebody would look at them, and the next thing there's this incredible boy, I'm going to smash this glass in your face if you don't back away. They've made no attempt whatsoever to take what was yours or even engage that. And even there, like that use of that word, yours, nobody's even said it's yours. They're another sovereign being who has total power to do whatever they want, but you have that it's mine, get away from it. And I can even pinpoint exactly in my life when and which parent on what day first inspired in me the emotion of jealousy and of envy. Like, I can pinpoint the day that I was like, this belongs to me and not you. And that's an incredibly powerful thing to recognize.
Right.
I would just say the other thought that I had was going back to what you started with, Debbie, is knowing the difference between jealousy and envy. Because a lot of people say, oh, they're jealous of you. And it's like, no, they're not. They're not jealous at all, because they have no reason to be jealous. They're envious. And there's a difference. And I'm going to sound really up myself here, but two things. Like, a friend of mine started copying my work. And rather than get annoyed with her, I literally sat down in a pub one day and just said, it's never going to work for you, because it's not you. Like, it's me. And it's there. And she was like, but you get this many reactions on like your Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. But that's me, and my authentic self speaks. And she's like, why is it not working? And it's like, because it's not you, and people know it's not you, so they ignore it. But then, like, since just one final thing, as you're all talking, and we're talking about like a little bit of the sort of people copying, I kind of feel inspired to just mention like the Christ Jesus. And when he was in Jerusalem, one of the disciples pulled him aside and was like, teacher, these people are using your words, like they're preaching your message. Like, should we not go and stop them? And the Christ basically turned around and said, are they not using my words? And they're like, yeah, it's your words, your message. And it's like, absolutely. And that's totally fine. They're using my words. Go with it. They're preaching the truth that I want to spread. The more people say it, the better. And,
Yeah.
you know, the idea that the disciples were really kind of like possessive of Jesus's
Yes.
wisdom, his message, but the Christ was like, anybody who wants it can take it. And I think
Yes.
as spiritualists, perhaps we need a little bit more of that. Like, anybody who wants what the Spirit has to offer, take it, spread it where you like, but so long as
Yes.
you, with truth and love and with a genuine understanding of what you're saying.
I agree. And I love what you say. And this is the beauty of all of you here. You all run with different energies and frequencies and thoughts and feelings and emotions. And I can unfold what you just said in so many ways. So you guys don't be shy, Louie. I know it's 8:30. Don't be shy, y'all. I know it's early, y'all. But the way I say it, I see it first and foremost. Your creation is a flow of spirit, and it's from you and spirit that is bringing forward the energies in the way that the mind and the body will receive it based on how you speak it, put it out there, and it's influenced by your thought and your creation. So I agree with you on that. Someone tries to make it theirs, it's not going to be the same because they're not operating at the frequency that it needs to be received. And so I wholeheartedly agree with that. The other part, when you talked about the anger and the emotions, we feel that. All of us are like, we're in our power of truth, and we can feel the floodgates of those emotions that another person can have towards us. Sometimes when it's someone even the most closest to us, right? People, you said your best friend, your colleagues, your people, your family, like, how do you step out of that and not take it personal and move it along and still stay in your truth? Louis, what do you do with that? Like, I'm coming to you, Louis. Like, how do you, I feel like you've either experienced this and you had to learn to like keep it cool and keep it on another level, but you're like, nah, man, it's all right. And then you create. Tell me what you do with that, Louis.
I mean, as far as like, what do you mean exactly?
Like
I don't
when you low key are around people and they've taken what you got, and you see it, you witness it, but you had to keep it moving. What did you do when that happened?
I think it would depend on the situation of what it is. I think I just kind of keep note of it. I'm aware of it. I feel if it's like something that's, I don't know. It depends what it is. Like if someone was like to like, for example, like my music, like say if I heard someone heard like a song I did and I wrote something, like I always write my own music. So if I wrote something that I know, like I wrote a certain way and I hear someone use it or twist it, because I kind of had that situation happen before, not like someone I kind of know, but uh, I don't take offense to it. But I mean, I don't get mad, but I do feel some type of way because it's something I wrote, something I did, you know, from me. So I feel it can't be taken. Someone else can't take it and then use it as if they created it. If that makes sense. I mean, I know people take things all the time and twist up and you know recreate or whatever it is, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, I just feel like it's something I keep note of. I'm aware of it. Um, I feel if it's not something that serious to address like that, I won't. I just kind of let it be. But
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it just depends on the situation more so.
Right. So it's like really moving with it with in a grown sense. Like, I'm grown, I'm not going to play your game. So it's like I see it, got a mental note, happens again, we're going to talk. Like, I see you. Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to ask, do you think that it has to do also like Louis? I think what you touched on there was really important. It's kind of like how they present it. I mean, there's one thing like, you know, we live like in a TikTok world where people are going to take your stuff and they're going to, you know, add stuff to it or manipulate or maybe create some new content of it, and that's actually kind of flattering. But if someone took one of your pieces of music and they pass it off as theirs, I mean, that's a whole different ball game, though, right?
Yes.
Ooh,
Definitely.
I get in trouble all the time for that, Greg. Louis. Sorry, go ahead, Louis. Yes.
Oh no, no. Yeah, I was just saying because I definitely feel like that. You know, just whatever it is something you create that's really tied to you, not just internally, but just within yourself. And like I said, like because for me, my music, like you know, is an art. it's like not just reflection of myself, but just reflection of myself, what I see in life, what I experience in life, what I've seen other people's have experienced in their lives, from stories or whatever been told. And so just for me to construct these things and put together, and then see someone else kind of take it and put their twist to it, and then to actually hear them even say or act like, oh yeah, to really, I can see in their demeanor how they care, like they really think they created that or carry that. It's like, to me, you're not being true with yourself. So, because that's what I'm trying to do, be true with myself. So it's like, so yeah, I will feel some type of way. And like you said, I will keep a mental note of it, and then like say they do something again or in a different way, then I will address it. Like, but I always try to do come correct, with people, but it does, yeah.
Right. And I think we are, I didn't use the right words, the manipulation that's out there, Greg, with TikTok and social media. My husband will tell me straight up, like, why you stitch that? That's her content. I'm like, I like her. I like what she did. It inspired me. I still kept her in it. I just added to it. So I honored her and I put in my twist, but it's out there. It could be done. And so it's like, how do we still stay in the flow, honoring what's out there, giving them the props, right? Giving them the props for the work that they've created and not take away or change what they've done. Now, Erica's really big on social media. Spirit talks to her through social media. So I'm gonna throw you on blast right now. I just did that. Yes. To Spirit, Erica, what have you noticed on social media when it comes to creation and like envy and jealousy, like what happens out there, because you follow the media very well?
I think lately it's been very interesting, right? Where you see people putting each other on blast, right? And you have these creators who have millions of followers, and then you have these, I would say, the little people like us, right? Like me, where I have like 1,000, and they're like putting them on blast about the things that they've said, they've done. And I just, to be very transparent with you, I think this is my spiritual side. I kind of look at both aspects of, the million follower, content creator compared to the ones that are trying to put it out there that they're not on the same level, or they're not, standing up for the cause, for example. But it's very interesting because it makes me wonder, is it envy? Is there envy involved? Are they doing it because now they want to try to create content to get their numbers up? Or are they doing it because they truly want people to stand up for the cause, or whatever the case might be? Like, what does that look like? And it's, as a spiritual person, you could feel into the videos. So you're like, oh, they're doing it because they want numbers. Or you're like, no, they're really passionate about it. You feel the feelings and the emotion behind it. So it's almost like you have to use your intuition to be like, okay, which one is true to themselves? But it's very interesting how it's going back and forth right now. There's tons of back and forth, and it truly is envy and jealousy that's being tossed. One wants what the other one has, and they want them to lose the followers, and they're trying to gain the followers. So, and then the other one's like, they have, a certain word that they said or a phrase that they said. So there's a lot of conflict, but I don't know.
I think it boils down to wanting to be accepted as well. Yeah. Like, and it's like that tribalism, right? And that's a survival instinct. And wanting to be a part of the tribe. So, and they see that like people love you, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to be like her.
I use the word me pican. It means it pokes me when I know, because I'm sensitive. I'd be like, oh, me está picando, meaning their energy's picking me, because I could see that they're looking through my social media. I could see what words I'm using. I could feel it. For me, if you touch my media and you're looking at it in the moment, I'm so sensitive that I can feel you looking at it. Not all the time, but I'm so attuned to the energies. Like when you like dissect something, I'll call Erica. I'm like, why are they looking at my stuff? And my feelings get hurt. Like, I'm so sensitive. Like, dude, it's one thing to be inspired, but then to try to take it again. So it's like, exactly what you said, Erica. We know when there's truth and there's a purpose behind why we're doing what we do. We were inspired to heal. Were you inspired to bring awareness? Were you inspired to bring inspiration? Like, what does that look like? We're all running and fueled by this energy. So I'm going to come to my man, Mr. Aiden. When we go into the mental health of envy and jealousy, Talk to us. Tell us what's happening here. ¿Qué está pasando?
Yeah, definitely. With I would say my like research expertise is not in jealousy and envy particularly, but I did a little bit of research and got some resources before the talk today. And it was really interesting in that a psychologist that I really like, her name's Tara Brach. No relation, by the way, a different spelling last name. But she often talks about how we have our emotions. So that emotion might be jealousy or envy or whatever it might be. The real issue might be underneath, just underneath. So when we bring our mindful awareness to that feeling of jealousy, of envy, or whatever it may be, whatever emotion we're working with, oftentimes it's that emotion underneath that we really need to deal with. And I think with jealousy and envy, particularly, a big thing is self-esteem. Of if I feel threatened because I already feel low, and suddenly someone's already making me feel lower, then I automatically feel threatened, and I'm going to get into my fight or flight and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if I feel secure in myself, if I feel secure in my work and all of that, there might be less of that, but it kind of gives and takes depending on culture as well. I think within our own Western culture, particularly, we're so tied to our individual and we say my work and my this and my that, and we're so identified with it that oftentimes when we're so identified with our work that as someone even wants to collaborate on that work, we get so protective on
Yes.
that. So it's sometimes keeping our egos in check. And I really like what Louis said earlier. Sometimes people aren't aware of it. Sometimes there is that little bit of delusion that says, "Oh, but it really is mine," and
Yeah.
it's there's that irrational thought, but also it's just being with our emotions too and going, okay, it's okay that I feel jealousy and working with that and working with the emotions that are underneath that too. That self-esteem of, okay, I'm feeling this way because this person made me feel threatened or this or that. And I really like evolutionary psychology. That's an area that I really like, in that when we look at jealousy and envy, and oftentimes in spiritual circles, we can often say, oh, well, I want to eradicate jealousy or I want to eradicate envy because I don't think it's good or whatever it is. It kind of challenges that thought of saying, why does envy or jealousy exist? It exists because somehow it served a purpose for humans to survive. And so when we look at envy or jealousy, when we looking at someone's resources or someone's work or whatever, it often triggers our survival response of, I want to be the one that survives, so I want to take from somebody else, or I want to do what they're doing, or whatever it might be. And relationships too, even Debbie at the beginning, you mentioned that, of the relationship aspect of, finding a mate and finding relationships. That's very much a part of our natural psychological existence. And so when we look at that in our modern days, when people cross relationships and people that we really care about, we often see that as a threat. Maybe I'm not going to pass my genes down, or maybe I'm going to be left alone. And being left alone, I think Jay Lynn talked about that too, being accepted and being part of the tribe. For early humans, that determined if you survived or not. Humans alone are very weak compared to the outer world, but we survive well together. We work together well. That's why we survived over the Neanderthals and other human-like species that were stronger physically but not as inclined mentally and in teamwork. And so when we're all so socially conscious, that is the thought of, we want to be a part of a group because being a part of the group is survival. And if that means that we have to be someone that we're not for a little bit, then maybe that's a survival thing, and maybe we have to do that. But then there's that other side of, we want to lean into the authenticity as well that we mentioned earlier. I've also had that in my own experience. Suddenly you feel like you're not connected to anybody because you're like, I just feel so lonely. And I feel like that's a big thing with our society today is a huge loneliness epidemic. People just don't feel connected, even though we're connected here on the internet and we're more connected that way than ever in history. People feel so disconnected because we do put that face out there. We do put that, in a way, not so authentic self out there. And the true self, in a way, isn't as connected as it was before because we don't have that interaction or we feel scared to show our authentic selves or all of that. So
I
it's
think-
also working with that too.
I think people have a hard time also like spending time with themselves. Like they're always wanting to be out and seeking attention. And I think that if we can like spend more time in solitude, I think it would strengthen our connection to ourselves and our authenticity.
I agree with you. I think as both of you were talking, I was taken back to structure family, what we were raised with, what influenced us with those thoughts. I was raised by a lot of women who were very jealous and they were very protective of their husbands and men, and they were very quick, and they are not shy to share, like, oh, Ida, look at what is she doing. And what that means, like, they're checking out the other women. And so I had to learn to break that. I had to learn how to be like, go ahead, do your thing, go do you. I had to work the trust. And when the trust is broken, the self-esteem drops, the confidence drops. I was Googling it and I was like, what chakra is the envy and jealousy sit? It's your solar plex. It's the power. It's your confidence. And so when we find ourselves in that state of emotion where we do feel jealousy or we do start to feel envy, it's an awareness to self to say, bring it back. Bring it back. Where do I need to heal myself? Let me focus on my soul. Let me get my energy back. And I don't know if you guys realize this or not, but I've actually took myself out of media for a little bit. Even though you see me, it's not as intense as I was. And I have really focused on my physical body, my emotions, my marriage, my family. It's like really bringing your energy back to self and whatever that looks like. And this is what I say to people when I work with them. Your energy speaks before you do. And if your energy is telling me you're in survival mode, it's going to be felt. And if you want something and you're hungry for something, take care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body because it'll come in hot and strong. And when I found myself slipping, I was like, oh, I got to get it back because life happens. And so we may find ourselves in envy. We may find ourselves in that jealousy. And that is a little light to say, baby, bring it back. Have the confidence, heal what is hurting you, right? I see Jason's face and his thoughts. So come on, Jason. What you going to say?
Just thinking, like, you have to just constantly check in with yourself, don't you? Like, I think so many. I know we technically all belong to sort of the Western world or that sort of Western culture. I mean this with great politeness. But I think often between Americans and Europeans, there's a really strong misunderstanding that we are very much alike. And we're actually very, very different. Like European culture, Western culture is very different. And Anglo-Saxon, British Western culture, very different as well. So for us, jealousy and envy are much more under the radar. They are done by much more subtle things, like more because in the British class structure has sort of forced us to accept humility and subservience and submissive nature. So we're not as overtly jealous. Like if we are jealous, it's very covert. It's very dig at the foundation. And it's kind of like you sort of, I don't know why I feel like I should say this, but somebody who's listening to this at some point will probably need to hear it. Which is that sometimes your friends are envious of you and jealous of you, and they are friends with you because they are envious and jealous. Like, they see something they want. They're not bold enough to overtly, publicly stand at you and say anything. So instead, they become your bosom buddy, and they're like best friend. And secretly, they're actually chipping away at your self-esteem. They're chipping away at your self-esteem. And it's not like if they stand close to the light, then the light shines on them as well. When really you kind of just need to push them and be like, Don't stand in the shade. Go stand over there by yourself. It's all good. And I think one thing that in this conversation that I feel like I need to put across is it's really okay to own what you have done. Like really okay to own your work, your creativity, your artistry, because spirituality is a form of art in its own kind. And like myself with missing people, I have been told like a load of times, like, you shouldn't really talk about it. You should do it under the radar. You should never like let anybody know. It's a very personal thing. I kind of agree. But like what Lou was talking about before, I totally have declared the people who I have helped find for one particular reason, partly ego probably, but the other part is because that was my work and I want to protect my work and say like, this is me. You don't get to touch it. You don't get to influence it because I did it. And if somebody then turned around to, because I literally heard somebody do this. I was in a bar and somebody was talking about a job that I had worked on. And I was literally sat next to them and was like, no, you didn't. And they were like, excuse me? And I'm like, no, you didn't. And they're like, what do you mean? No, I didn't. I can prove it. I'm like, you can prove it. Prove it to me then, because that's literally my shit that you were talking about. Like, nobody can prove it better than me. So leave my shit alone. Go find your own thing, and it's all good. But in this industry, there's this weird attempt to like force people to be humble unnecessarily, force people to undersell themselves unnecessarily. To sort of be like, how do you word it? Like false modesty. You know, where you're like, I'm not good, I'm not special, I'm not powerful, I'm not important, I'm just doing my little thing. But so long as you check it, and then I'm going to shut up when I say this. But when Lou was speaking, it really inspired this thought in my head because I was doing a reading recently for an artist, and she was literally saying, "Look, my art's not selling." So I was like, "Show me your artwork." And so she walked around the house and was like, "Yeah, it's really shit. I won't buy any of it." And she was like, why would you say that? It's like, show me one you painted because you wanted to. Okay. And she showed me this picture and I was like, I like that. It's like, show me the ones that you made to sell. And she showed me them. I'm like, but I wouldn't buy them. And she was like, why? And I said, because your art sells. I can see you in that painting. In this, I see you're trying to con me. You're trying to give me something I don't want, but I want you. And she was like, oh, but those are like what the commercial sort of industry wants. And I think spiritualists as well, we do it too much. We try and give people what they want, not what we want to give them.
So honesty is so important. Yeah, honesty in your truth, in your purpose, like your flow. It's so important to stay honest to your word and what comes to you and your thought and your belief system is really standing in your power. It's going to be so important. I do got to say though, Jason, I have ran into some jealousy people from your side of the world. So let's not let's I've had it said to my face, so I'm gonna stand up here for that and be in my truth. I have been hit in my face by people who said, "Why you? Why did you get to have this?" I've had people tell me straight up, like, "How did you do this?"
There's like, I think that comes, and I mean this again politely, it's just as an observation. British people towards Americans, we are generally snobby. We genuinely think like
That's what my husband says. But we can't play that card no more.
We're like the most powerful nation in the world, and yet we're still like, yeah, but we're the only true white people type of thing. Like it's a saying in England, the only true white people are English. The rest of you are just a weird mix of something else. And
I have been hit by that. I have been hit by that hard. And I was like, what is this? You know, like what is happening? And so there is a properness and there is a way that it's brought forward and it could be felt very like, whoa, what did I do? Are they mad? Like what happened? So I had to talk to my husband about it. He's like, no, it's just the language and the properness. And I was like, dang, that's some fighting thug words for me. Like I'm already like, ¿qué está pasando? My wounded self was feeling it. So, but there is a fine line definitely between the proper way of being, you know, way we feel it We feel the energy, and it can be come in. So that's another topic we go into another time. But you guys did an amazing job. I love what you guys all brought to the table. I really honor you giving your Saturday up to talk with me here today and for the community. And I love what you said, Jason, when you said someone who's going to need to hear this. They may not be in here. It could be your friend. It could be your family member. It could be someone low key right there next to you, side by side, and they are cheering for you, but low key, like, this ain't gonna work. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Do I want to? How long am I gonna stand in the shadows and be her friend or not be her friend? Like, you're gonna go through those stages. So I say, stay strong.
And
So
if you do, I'm so sorry. I know you're about to end it, but
No,
if you
baby,
do feel
no.
that, if
I
you
was
do feel
scared.
that jealousy, I think it's because you're focusing too much attention outward, and you
Okay.
need to bring it in.
I needed to hear that too. So, like, we all go through that. And what I want to say is, each of you guys right now, what can you give someone who's listening something to do to change their hurt of what they're feeling if they feel they're in the jealousy mode or envy mode at the moment? Like, what can you give them to heal that, bring awareness to it? What was it? Something physical? Like, what did you do physically, mentally, emotionally? What did you do to change that when you found yourself in that position? I'll start with Jason. Go ahead, Jason. Did you miss it?
I'm just going to throw two out there, like my two pieces of advice. In the moment of like feeling, or three pieces of advice. In the moment of feeling jealousy, you should walk away and just take a breath, like, because it is a genuinely powerful emotion and we cannot stop our emotions. You can just acknowledge them. So you should just walk away, get why you're feeling it, and just sort of say, look, it's mine. Envy, I would remind people as a British person, the Queen doesn't give a shit what I have in my house because she has everything. I mean, she's dead, obviously. The King, actually. But, you know, like the people at the top, they don't give a shit what the little people have. So if you're bothered about they have too much, then you just need to find your happy space. And the third thing, I know you said at the beginning, like, you got to own what you say here and how you want to be represented. I would say you should take some seriously special herbal medicine and you should wander off into your memories and you should see it gave you a bad experience. And I'm not saying like take marijuana or magic mushrooms or ayahuasca, but there are certain special herbs like lavender that can really help you find your childhood trauma and sort of say, when did your mom or dad take that toy off you and say you can't have that anymore, because that's where it started. And you were not strong enough to snatch it back. That's where it came from.
And that goes back to the inner child. I love that you brought it to that, back to that for inner healing. Thank you, Jason. Mr. Greg.
I guess I would just say it's always there, and a lot of us don't listen to it, and that's like, listen to that inner voice, that voice of reason, that instinct, that gut, in those moments that it's happening, and I think that also can translate into, don't jump to conclusions. Just, don't act immediately on your raw emotions. And that's something that I'm speaking to you all from experience, which, we're all human. It still happens. But when you're able to just to stop and be like, maybe this isn't exactly what you think it is. Maybe it's not against you. Maybe it's not what it's presenting itself as. Let it just exist and just calm down, listen to your inner voice, and I think honestly most of the time you're going to realize it's not as bad as you initially thought.
I love that. That's you're so grounded, Greg. So grounded. I love it.
After decades of being off the rails, yeah.
I'm so glad that you have the expertise to bring us back. Go ahead, Ms. Jalen.
I would say walk away, take a deep breath, but more importantly, like, when you take that deep breath, do a sigh, like, so you can hear your vibration, because your vibration is always going to bring you back. And to continue it, like, when you do separate, so you don't think about it or like kind of, what do they call it? Like simmer in the pot with it, the emotions. try to like hum to yourself and create that vibration and like be in tune with yourself.
Thank you, Jalen. Beautiful. Mr. Aiden.
I would say to, yeah, definitely take a deep breath and to know that you are not your jealousy or your envy. You're feeling those feelings. And having that little bit of what's called cognitive diffusion or a distance from your emotions for a little bit and just observing can be helpful. Also, sitting with your emotions, listening to them, letting them letting them tell you what they need is a good thing as well. And also coming back to your own power. Oftentimes, when we're jealous or envious or in either way, we are giving our power to somebody else instead of coming back to ourselves. So
Yes.
knowing that when we come back to ourselves, knowing that we are worthy of love and belonging as our authentic self, and just coming back to a certain mantra of, for me, whatever is like the staple of your practice. So for me, is I always want to have integrity in my work, and I always want to
Yes.
do the best that I can. And so as long as I do that, then everything will just fall into place.
Yes. So beautifully said. Thank you, Aiden. Miss Erica.
Definitely with jealousy, I would say jealousy is a you thing, not a them thing. So take the time to go within and to identify when was that created, what scenarios, whether it was childhood, whether it was relationship, what does that look like, and heal that so that way it will no longer be a thing moving forward. And with envy, I love what Jason said when he talked about the queen, now king. It's understanding that the material things around you don't identify who you are. Your worth is it within you, not the things that you have or others have. So it's just taking that time to work with yourself. And I think the whole picture all together is definitely self. Go within, identify, what is it that you have to work on, and what is the stink eye, right?
Yes.
And let's fix it. And it starts with you.
Yes, beautifully said. All of you guys are coming in hot. I absolutely love it. Taking the breath, it's what comes to me as you guys are talking. Detach, from everything and all. Mr. Louis, what you thinking? How you gonna close this up here? Talk to us.
I think, well, first I think everyone had a very good choice of words to say. So without trying to echo too much what everyone else said, is like the same thing. Like whether it's envy or jealousy, I mean, just like it's emotion. So just like with any other emotion, it's just something we might not know how to deal with at first. Like for me growing up, I might have had my times of I'm not really a jealous, envious person, but if I ever was, I probably didn't really know how to deal with it well. Just through over time. So like for me, like from what I learned from like a favorite artist of mine, J. Cole, he has a song called "Love Yours," and he says in the song, "There's no such thing as a life. There's no such thing as a life that's better than yours."
Now let's hear it. Drop it, Mr. Louis. Let's hear you say a little piece.
If you want to hear, you go hear J. Cole. J. Cole says the best. Like, I'm just relaying his message that I got for him. But he just said you won't ever be happy till you love basically what you have and what's yours. And so I think that's just like a good good choice of words. And what everyone else said too, I feel is like I guess I don't want to echo that. But everyone else said, I feel the same way too. Like take a deep breath, walk away, recollect yourself, recollect your thoughts, process the emotions. We all have different emotions that like I said, no one's perfect, but we all have to just try our best to learn to process our emotions and think our thoughts through.
Yes.
And that's something like I've learned along my journey in my life that I'm still working on to become even better as a person. So
I love that. You guys are all doing amazing jobs. I see you guys all rocking it. And you are really what Aiden says, you do work with integrity. You all work with love and you're honest. So just keep doing what you're doing. Who here wants to drop a little beat? Is it Jalen or Mr. Louis? Who wants to drop a little beat for us today as we close it off? Who's up for it?
I have to open my FL Studios. Hold on.
Drop a little beat for us. Let's hear it. Come on now.
Let's see if you guys can hear it. Let's see if you guys can hear it. I have to turn this on really quick. It's still
Lily's like,
loading.
oh, Mama Debbie, no, you did it. It's 8:00 in the morning.
No,
I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to hear this.
Let's hear it, Miss Jalen.
Can you hear it? Hey. All right, you guys.
Go ahead, baby.
I'm not gonna rap. I'm gonna go ahead and let Louie take that one.
Go ahead, Lily. What you gonna add to it, Lily? Go ahead, Lily. She just passed the mic. Go ahead.
What you want me to rap? Like freestyle or something? Or rap?
Anything, baby. Freestyle. Close us up nice.
I'll rap one of my songs about kind of actually about jealousy and envy.
Okay.
Can't let my thoughts get the best of my memory. I hear the whisper, see your demeanor, the jealousy, and no glory in hating, because it comes with the territory. I'm mad scientist. Catch me cooking in the laboratory. It's unfortunate to ever see any casualties. It's the way of the game, so don't be mad at me. I hope you see the energy, embrace nature, go against the universe and feel it in a way so major.
Ooh.
Hey.
That's what's up. That's a snaps. That's what's up. I thank you guys for being here today for the community and for spirit, and for those who listen to this podcast. Don't forget to follow Jason, Greg, and Jalen, and Aiden, Erica, and Louie. They're all on all social medias, and this is what's up and happening today. Let's be kind, let's be gentle, and let's stay in the love, y'all. Thank you for being here. Mwah. Much love, everybody.